been so exciting to me to have something simple to help people with our issues. We have a sick care system, not a healthcare system, which everybody on here is very familiar with, unfortunately, in one way or another. So when something comes along that we can, um, okay, oh, hard to hear. Let me see. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, let's see. Is this a little better if I just talk a little bit louder? Is that okay? Can everybody?
It's
Better.
better.
Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you for letting me know that. Yes, please message. I see it pops right there. So that's great. We will get this figured out. So anyways, um, so yeah, so when something comes along that I can help the people that I've been helping, um, it's very exciting to me. So I work with everything from gut health to parasites to, I mean, just you name it. I love to geek out on the science of it. And then recently, like a year ago, a friend told me about a vagus nerve activation product. Sounded really interesting, so I decided to take a gander at it. And what I started learning about the vagus nerve and how it affects our body, and that could be the missing key in what I was dealing with and helping people with, and sometimes there would be a stall out. When that came along, I thought, okay, now this is really exciting. This is something that will complement what the space I'm in already in the wellness space, the gut health space, and then started learning more about the vagus nerve. Now, our vagus nerve runs from our brain stem basically to our rectum. It touches every organ in between, and it helps the function of. So it's kind of like the background processor for over 1,100 functions in our body. And so when I realized how important that was, how low our vagal activity is nowadays, and especially learning how low it is since COVID, and just how many people are stuck in that fight or flight mode, right? When you're in the fight or flight mode, your body cannot heal. So what happens is when you can activate your vagus nerve, so people do hot and cold plunges, you can do lots of things that'll activate it for a few minutes or a couple hours. So when I started learning more about that, and then this came along, a product that we've known the science of it for a very long time, just the processing of it, to get it to a price point where you could even offer it to the public. That is something new. And so when this came along, and then I realized how many even like wellness, health practitioners, your doctors, your MDs, and your naturopaths, and your functional medicine doctors, how many of them were excited to have something like this come across the wellness industry. I thought, okay, there's something to this. So I started looking into it, got some people to try it right away, was just blown away. So basically, it's going to activate, it's the three bitter acids out of the mature hops extract. And we've known you can get hops, just the extract from hops and use that medicinally. We know that this is different. This is the bitters extract, the three bitters out of that. It is in purified water, and it is tasteless and it is odorless, and it is really changing the game. They call it, along with the other one, they call it industry disruptor, just because of how effective it is on so many issues, because it is activating your vagus nerve, which is then affecting 1,100 of those functions, like I mentioned, in our body. And it's taking our body in, enabling it to go into rest and digest. For our bodies to heal, we need to be more in homeostasis, not the fight or flight. Our bodies do not heal in fight or flight. So that is why to have something so simple come along that can just adjust us into our parasympathetic nervous system, activate that, and then the trickle down effect. Of course, every organ is affected. Our breathing's affected, our liver's affected, our pancreas, everything is affected. And so it's just been super, super exciting. And I'm just making sure that there's nobody here in the waiting room. So, so that's what I fell in love with, to add it into my wellness coaching. So I'm kind of more the vagus nerve gut health coach, because it affects so much the gut. everything. And of course, we all know all disease begins in the gut. So when you have something come along that's so simple that can activate your rest and digest so that your body can start to heal, what it's affecting for cognition issues is just mind blowing. So we've got exciting stories. We've got dementia reversal stories. We've got um, just so many things. Right away, people notice sleep improves right away. I'll ask people like a day into it, what have you noticed first? And they'll be like, I just feel calm. And so I don't know if Rosanna's on here, but she just has an amazing story. When nothing changes on the outside, maybe your circumstances even get worse, but when you've got something you can take and suddenly the whole of your inside just feels calm. The way you handle stress, the way you handle anxiety, depression, absolute game changer. We've got a pastor in Australia. He's fought major depression his whole life and fought it. So, so that's a good thing. But it was debilitating at times and hasn't had hasn't struggled since, just with these vagus nerve activation drops. So it's pretty exciting that the power of activating your vagus nerve, then your body being able to affect the whole parasympathetic nervous system and what it's able to do. We've got, of course, all that then affects inflammation. It affects your digestion big time, really big time. So things just start falling into place there. Um, but sleep right away, brain fog right away, people will notice. Just looking through, some of the people on here are using it, so I know a few of you. Um, Made me think of a family member, somebody on here. Their cravings for smoking have gone down immensely, and so there's just so many things. Men especially notice a big difference right away. One of the first things they'll notice is they don't get up to pee as much in the night if they've hit that stage in life. Prostate numbers plummet for people that's an issue. And there's just so many things Val was saying before we started the talk that um, even with animals, because even animals have a vagus nerve. And just the testimonies coming out about that are just incredible. Dogs, cats. That would be quite disruptive for the veterinary industry because so many people are solving so many things just at home. So that's been really exciting. So adding that into my wellness coaching already has just been transformational, been a game changer. And the exciting thing is once again, part of my passion is being able to help people afford their products if they want. And let me admit, so that's always, to me, that's always important. So you can go to the health food store and grab this and that and the other, and always trying to experiment, figure out, what is going to help solve this problem that you're struggling with. And when you can come along, try something, you can share it with your friends. It's truly such a blessing in thousands of people's lives. Moms, stay-at-home moms able to finally come home. So that is one of the most exciting things to me, is when you can work with somebody, work with a company that has life-changing products, and then also has a passion for getting people to share about it, and then rewarding them with bonuses, referral bonuses, affiliate marketing, and all that. So there's so many options. The other thing, so that's what we started with when I started kind of searching this out about a year ago. And then while that was launching, so our vagus nerve activation drops called Phix, while that was launching and changing so many lives, they were working on a product that they had the science of for a couple decades, but we actually got it improved, and was able to bring it to market in an exciting way, and that in a way that helps um, the poorest and the sickest children around the world. So that's going to be social entrepreneurship, and that is with our other product that's also with this same company. And so, besides having the most wonderful model to share it, you're actually helping globally. And with the when you purchase this other product. It's called VeraCell, and it is taken, this basic science of it is it's a glyconutrient. And that is a whole rabbit hole in itself. And what happens is our cells are not communicating and they're not being heard when the communication breaks down. The cells need the molecules around them for them to be able to talk to each other. And basically, that has been so destroyed over the years that when a part of our body is crying out for help, they're not hearing it so that they can send the cells to help with that disease cell that's proliferating and wreaking so much havoc in our body. They're crying for help, and then the the part of the cells that are supposed to send the killer T cells are not able to hear it because the communication of the cells is broken down. So what happens is this product called VeraCell, a glyconutrient product. It has ace mannan in it. It's got your five polysaccharides. So then each one of those is a whole study in itself. What happens is it um, starts to repair that cell to cell communication. Now, I'm not going to go into the science of it. I've got a great clip from a lady, Jackie, who's so good at explaining it. Um, but this one is, as a standalone product, is quite a wellness industry game changer. And the one guy that helped bring it to market, he says it's quite an industry disruptor. And a lot of doctors are coming out of retirement or they're really excited because the studies on this go way back. Um, so I won't even get into all that, but basically they knew it would kill the AIDS virus. They've seen the studies on what it does with Alzheimer's, what it does with cancers, all of that. So when you pair the repair of your cells communicating together so that they can ask for help, so that they can modulate down or up your immune system, that's huge. So we're talking some of the most dreaded diseases. That is all affected by the macrophage of the cells, the immune system response. And this repairs that. So it's got the fiber in it that works on the gut health. So people's lives are just totally being changed with something so simple. So I'm very excited. The one product I thought as a standalone was, I'd go all in just on the vagus nerve activation drops. Then when I started learning about the VeraCell, the ACE mannan, the cellular recognition, the cellular communication that's repaired, and what that does in our body with every disease. It blew me away. We've got a guy that was feeling better. He was on the vagus nerve activation drops, so was feeling much better. But after 6 heart attacks, there's just a lot of damage that's done. Um, and so he was on the heart transplant list for 6 years. And I think maybe Val can correct me if I'm wrong, but about 2 months in on the VeraCell. So this is that product. This is the powder product that repairs cell to cell communication. His tissue of his heart was repaired enough that they took him off the transplant list. So that's just the power of what we're working with this VeraCell, and it's just getting more and more exciting. We've got another fun one with the vagus nerve drops. I remember hearing early on or a few months ago this the wife, her husband had a stroke. Her husband had a stroke. He was totally locked in for 8 weeks. Just the eyes moved, and so she finally wanted to give him some of the vagus nerve activation drops. Got it approved by the doctor. Got it put in his feeding tube. By the next day, he had tears coming down out of his eyes. He was able to stick his tongue out. He started moving a hand. So within the next, I think it was 3 days, they had him moved to rehab. So that's the power of what we're working with, and all of it just merged so nicely with my passion for gut health and how much has changed when our microbiome changes. And then to add in this next little tool has been so exciting. So we've got everything from inflammation to digestive issues. Again, once again, I've never seen anything work this fast, like I said before, for mental health issues. I had a friend in town here and she shared her story. Um, she had been, 2 times in the hospital, just severe mental health um, struggles. And within 10 days, she's like, I haven't felt this good in years. So that it's just really exciting. Then to have something that's tasteless and odorless, back to the vagus nerve drops. So we're working with two things that as standalone would totally change your life. Then you pair them up, and I don't think the industry is going to recover from the effects of the amazingness of this product. And so that's what I'm so excited about. And um, well, I know what I was going to say. I was just looking to see if my guest was on yet. Um, so the other thing I was going to say too is for children, because I love having something simple for children. So this is proving to be, the drops alone are proving to be a game changer for autism and ADHD. Is shocking. And I've known when you change the microbiome for children, then it will change behavioral issues in those arenas. You're not going to reverse everything, but you will change a lot. And sometimes that's hard when you have a product that has a flavor or you've got a mask with a food. Food is always such an issue in that arena. So to have something tasteless, odorless, that you can stick in their juice and whatever, they never know. The the lady, I did share her story a couple weeks ago, and she's got it in her 11-year-old's drink every morning. They had to pull her out of school because her behavior issues were so bad. She's on the spectrum and severe ADHD, um, and some other behavioral issues, just terribly acting out. And it was just so bad. She had to pull her out of school, couldn't make friends. And so she started giving her these drops just secretly. And her whole life changed. Her behavior changed. She started learning, paying attention in school. They put her back in school. She started making friends. She said, and she even had a sleepover. Like, that's just unheard of. So it's really exciting. Down to very small children, we have stories of just overnight change when you activate that vagus nerve. There's so much overload in our nervous system, our central nervous system, and our body's not kicking into the parasympathetic nervous system often enough in order to heal and to calm all that down. So it's that part is really exciting. PTSD, when you're working with veterans or anybody, a lot of trauma. um, we've got a couple trauma coaches that are just, they're like, I'm to the point now where unless somebody is going to be on these drops for a couple weeks, I almost don't want to start working with them, just because of the effect of able to start dealing with issues so much quicker uh, when you're in your parasympathetic nervous system, and you're um, able to just kind of relax inside and work through the issues way easier. Um, the so that was, yeah. So brain fog, memory loss. One lady, I share her story. Her husband, dementia for 10 years in a wheelchair. She started giving him drops 4 times a day when she realized that it was starting to help him. And he is out of the wheelchair. They're back to sailing. Um, his dementia has reversed, so it's really exciting, all the options that there are. There are lots of stories out of the UK with even some Parkinson's, some dementia, and that too. And so to have something so simple for every demographic, and to have something simple for our seniors is just been incredible. I've got a friend in Ohio, and her dad's in a nursing home, and so she got him started. He's 90, I think 92. She got him started on the drops, and right away, his bladder issues improved, his cognition improved, um, his mood really improved. So yeah, she's working. The nurses are happy to give it to him because it's just been such a game changer in his life too. So that's just a little overview of of what we're working. Uh, let's just see here. I'm just asking. I think something must have happened. I hope she's okay. Um, so that's just a little quick overview. I knew there would be some people on here tonight that had really heard about the product yet. Some of you on here are loving it, and I know some of your stories, and that's exciting. And Lenny's on here, and he's the one that told me about it. And at first, I was just kind of like, "Oh, not another thing to check out," because there's just always so many things that come your way when you're in this space, and people are like, "You should try this, and you should look at this," and as you all know, I'm just super happy with gut health. And but when I saw what this could do, and I got some friends right away to try it and say, "Hey, is this? I know you stalled out a bit with what the program we were working with. Do you feel like this could be a missing piece in your health journey?" It's just blown me away, just blown me away. So that's been incredible and really fun. And now with the new product, the VeraCell, we're already, getting so much anecdotal reports on that. So, um, what was I gonna? I was gonna mention. Uh, yeah. So I think that is now what I'm wondering is, so the yeah that so the product itself is super exciting. We're with a company called Marketplace Global, and there are other products. There's the Fulvic, there's New Zealand Fulvic, there's a few other just anything they put out is like top line. Um, the vagus nerve activation drops are just so exciting because as a company, they own the fields where the flowers are grown, they own the processing, they own the packaging, they own it all. So it's really exciting to be part of something so ground floor, so revolutionary, and that even so many healthcare professionals are jumping in on. And it says, is it glitching on you? It says my internet was unstable for a second. So, um, but besides all that, it's an opportunity, a business opportunity also, which nowadays with hundreds of thousands getting laid off, it is incredible to have something in this space where you can share something that's working so well for you, something you love, something your neighbor is struggling with a health issue, or so many people struggling with mental health, and to have something this simple to share and have so many lives changed is really, really exciting. You can follow my Instagram, Vegas Nerve Coach, and okay. Oh, so just waiting here for Cindy. She's just about on, and then she's going to share with us. She was in a spot where she didn't have internet, and so she's okay. So she's coming. So, anyways, I just want to make sure I always share the business opportunity too, because for me and my family, we ranch, and I can't just add another, hundred or couple $100 on. I really, had some people that wanted to try it with me. It has been such a blessing financially too. So these are huge options in today's world. Health and finances are two of the biggest issues that people lose sleep over every day. 80% of people in our country, in North America, might be higher in Canada, but at least in the US, it's like 78 to 80% daily stress about finances. In the UK, where it's taking off also, it's like 85 to 88%. So it's a really big deal. Um, the financial aspect of things, especially with AI losing with so many people losing jobs over that. And then to have this as a provision, has just been really huge. And they say it's kind of it's personal development with um, with a compensation plan, and that's what we always say about this kind of social selling. It's like you have your own little your business in a box, and Cindy's almost on, and part of that is I'm working with uh just seeing if she's coming now. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Well, you know what I'll do while we're waiting for her is, do you have any, what would be your first question, especially if you're not familiar with it? Um, do you have any questions for me? Any of you, or a story you want to share? And it's okay, I'm putting you on the spot, so you totally don't have to. But yeah, it um yeah, let me know if you've got a question or something to add, or um let's see. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So
I
yeah,
think
I just, oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just think it would be fun for Lynn to share the first your sponsor, Lynn Banaszak,
Yeah.
to share what happened to him with the when Ace Man first came out with the first time and the product that he took and what it did for him. Can you do that, Lynn?
Are you in a
Yeah, I
video
sure can.
spot?
If you can hear me, I'll
Okay.
throw the video on here.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
can see me and
That's
hear
great.
me, that work okay?
Yeah, and by the way, you all that have been on the original of this glyconutrient product, even before it was as good as we have it 10 times better now. I am just blown away. I was with a bunch of you, and you're in your, like, you two, I mean, not to speak out of school, but you're in your 80s and you were running circles around some of the younger ones. So bless you and thank you for sharing. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn, real quick, and tell us what
Right.
you
Well,
noticed.
Rebecca, you're doing a great job. You don't need to have any ringers come in. You can handle it all yourself and do a phenomenal job. Really appreciate what you're doing. It is tremendous. Well, I started back um, years ago in like 95. That is 1995, not 1895. Anyway, it was 1995. We started or thereabouts, and we had a product that had Ace Mannan in it. But what was happening is people were getting such excellent results using the product for various physical needs. Um, and so when we started, the product came in a capsule. So you would take two capsules a day. Um, but then when people had some very serious situations to deal with, they were doing like all 60 capsules a day, like one bottle a day. But if you can imagine swallowing 60 capsules, it's a little awkward, trying to get that down. But when you have a very serious condition, you wanted to do it. So anyway, I was working with the two capsules a day, like the direction said, and that's like a maintenance level, right? And so, as you were talking about the prostate issues, I was coming into that realm where, I'd start having to get up several times a night because of the prostate issue and so on. And so, maybe four times. And I found out, oh, that's normal prostate enlargement. Okay, well, that's great. It's normal. Uh, so anyway, I said after a while, what happened is the company came out with a powder form like we have now because people were taking it in such volumes that they needed to have a simpler way to do it. So I got the container with the product in it, the Ace Mannan in it, and I said, well, everybody's talking about taking massive amounts, so I took um, what I assumed or thought would be a massive amount. Well, compared to what I was taking, it was massive, but compared to some people, we're taking a half a tub, like 50 grams a day for their particular situations. I said, well, I'll instead of a scoop twice a day, what I'll do is take a tablespoon and a half once a day. So I started taking a tablespoon and a half and in 4 days, I was sleeping through the night. This is after getting up three or four, and it lasted a very long number of years. Um, and it's still pretty good, I would have to say. Now, one thing I will say is I was working with my son. We were installing some flooring, and taking that much product at one time, you go through you can go through a thing called a detox, where your body is flushing out all kinds of toxins, and it's very important to take water, keep hydrated when you do that. And I remember on the job, I could still remember the job I'm on. I could still remember my son, who was about 18 or 19, working with me, telling him, and I said, I must be going through a detox. I could hardly crawl across the floor to put the flooring in. So that lasted a day or two. But once it happened, it was over. But just so people know, that's not a problem. That's a result. So I don't want to take up too much time in case
Yeah.
your guest comes on.
Yes,
But
yeah.
anyway,
She's ready now, but yeah, and then you said,
okay.
yeah, you said with your kidneys too, you had some help there, so that is really
Oh
cool.
yeah, right.
But
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
yeah, but that's
that was with the fix.
okay,
That
okay.
was with the
Yeah,
fix. A 3%
yeah.
increase in function.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Well, listen, you're a wealth of knowledge. We'll get you back on it. But part of my journey, like I was saying before, that when you're in this space of sharing in this wellness space, and it's a lot of personal growth. And I want to thank Cindy. Cindy's on here. She came through a lot of obstacles this afternoon. I'm so sorry. Thank you for jumping on. But she has just been a wonderful. We met at another networking event, and it's been fun, just kindred spirit. It's been amazing. She helps women. She works mostly with women, and she just helps them be who they were created to be. And I'm going to let her tell a bit of her story. She's a international speaker, trainer, mentor, and international #1 best-selling author who blends neuroscience, faith, humor, and heart to help women lead with clarity, calm, authority, and greater impact. And I just think it's so beautiful. She's got quite a resume here. I won't read it all, but a lot with the neuroencoding. I'm sure she'll mention that as a neuroencoding specialist. And Cindy, thank you so much. I know you've been through a lot to get with us today, and we're honored that you're on here with us. Thank you for joining in. Just take it away, and hopefully everybody can stay. If you have to slip away, I totally get that. But we're recording it, and we'll have the replay too. So thank you, Cindy. Take it away. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Of course I am. Thank you so much. And I love the sentence. I wrote it down that the gentleman just said that detox is not a problem, it's a result. And I love that is a powerful sentence. Knowing the products and, and what it can experience. And if people don't write it out long enough, knowing that it's a result, that was fabulous. So thank you. And thank you, all of you. Won't go into details of, when you live in the boonies and you don't have electricity, you don't have cell service and you can't get online and, all that. So thank you for having me in. So take a deep breath. And, there was this Swedish chemist and he flips open the paper one morning expecting to read his brother's obituary, and except instead of seeing his name there or his brother's name, it was his. And the headline read, Le Marchand de la Mort est mort, which means the merchant of death is dead. Imagine that, your life summed up smack dab in black and white for the entire world to see, and that's what it says. And it further went on to say he invented dynamite and left a legacy of enabling the nations of the world to reach new levels of mass destruction. He will always be remembered as the merchant of death. Holy smackadoodles. I mean, right in that moment, Alfred Nobel decided, he made this decision, this will not be my legacy. It will not. So he took the fortune that he made blowing things up and created a trust worth millions. Every single year rewards people and organizations who advance peace in the world. And his name was Alfred Nobel, and that fund is the Nobel Peace Prize. Now, who here has ever blown anything up before? Like earlier today, I wanted to blow some things up, but who here has ever done that? I mean, type a one in the chat if you've ever blown anything up before. And I mean, like, have you ever blown your knees? How about your back? Anybody ever blown their diet? You know, have you ever blown some cash? Ever blown your relationships before? What about your temper? Ever blown any opportunities or, you know, have you ever, what have you done in your life before that hasn't gone the way you wanted and you just kind of blew it up? Because believe me, I've left a few smoking craters in my wake before. And sometimes, you know, it isn't us though. Sometimes life drops dynamite right in our laps. And for me, that happened in 2021. In April, I made one of the most decisions, the biggest decisions in my life, and that was I joined the Neuroencoding Institute alongside with Dr. Daniel Amen, Joseph McClendon III, and some neuroscientists and neuropsychologists. And I decided that I wanted to come along and figure out what really makes people do the things that they do, but even further, how can we help people to create the life of their wildest dreams? But in that single decision, it helped me because what we teach and what we do is we help you to rewire, you know, in scripture we see that it's, you know, renewing your mind. Well, what does that mean exactly? And how do you make that stick? And how do you make that work? And, you know, how do you make just really amazing decisions? Well, what neuroencoding is that it's a way to help you you rewire your own mind, your heart, your nervous system so that you default to your best choices. And I had no idea how much I was about to need that because 2 weeks after I did that, I ended up moving out of my home and my marriage of over 20 years. And I moved in with my amazing son, Mana, and his 5 beautiful children and his amazing wife, Holly. And they're just incredible family. And what mother gets that kind of gift? Like I got a front row seat to see my son be a husband and a father. And I didn't even know he was a voracious reader. So cool, you know, just watching him do that. And I got to see him be a leader and we laughed and we ate all his favorite foods, you know, because mom was there. So I could make all his favorite meals. And, you know, we sang till our hearts content and we cried and we had some of the most amazing conversations. It became one of the greatest blessings in my life. And then at the end of July of 2021, my sweet, beautiful son, Hawaiian big boy, his name is actually Jared Elia Ho'omana O'io, not only, we called him Mana. At age 36, he unexpectedly moved back home to heaven. And, you know, that you can't prepare yourself if you've lost, you know, a loved one or anybody, but it's particularly difficult, obviously, when it's your child. And I actually have 3 sons in heaven. So, and I have 6 children. So with that, you know, from Mana, that was August 7th. Moving forward, for the next 7 months, I had 8 loved ones that unexpectedly moved back home to heaven, including my father. And my divorce was final, all within that 7-month period of time. And you know, when you have those kind of unimaginable plot twists and losses, it really just left me at some point, you know, almost like gasping for air, like what in the world is happening? And my faith isn't wired in a way that it even occurred to me that my son wouldn't be here. So, you know, I remember in January, so that happened in August. And then there were 4 loved ones, including my father, by the end of that year that had all transitioned over. Again, all unexpected. Nobody was sick. Nobody had like long illnesses or anything. And I was at the beach in Cannon Beach, standing at the ocean. Now, I am Hawaiian and Sicilian, and so for me, the ocean is a very healing place, even if you're freezing and shivering, because Cannon Beach is in Oregon and you're just like in January, you're shivering. And yet I was standing there and I was having a conversation with God. I was just didn't even know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do here? You know, I have all these children and my son's 5 children now. And how do I help everybody function? it was like I could hear a voice so clearly that just said, my love for you is deeper than this ocean. Keep your eyes on me. And I've got you, sweetheart. I've got you. And I stood there and I vented and screamed and yelled and sobbed and all of the things that you can imagine. And what's amazing is that beach is, no matter what time of year, is usually packed at the place where I was standing. It's a place called Haystack, which is a pretty famous touristy place, and nobody was there. And then when I was almost finished, I could, like, again, as though I could hear you or me, it's like, okay, what do I do? And I heard loud and clear, you're the one, Cindy, and let people know that they're the one. Like, now is the time, and this is the place. And I declared right then and there, okay, I need to rise. I need to rebuild. I need to reign and carry my purpose and my mission forward. But what was important, what I kept feeling and sensing, it was so important, and I get this when I talk to Rebecca a lot, is that I wanted to make sure that I carried things forward with joy. Like, it's one thing to just kind of get up every day and my life sucks, but you get up and yeah, I made it through the day, but it's another thing to get up and to actually have joy every day, no matter what comes along. And what is interesting is, and I discovered this as I was going along, because I was doing research one day and wondering, well, what do they do in heaven all day anyway? Like, and how do you really know, what they do? So of course I'm looking at different YouTubes and different things and just kind of going down this path. And I discovered, and Miles Monroe said this, and I think Les Brown has said it, that the richest place in the world is the cemetery, right? Because that's where people's dreams and their hopes and their unfulfilled purposes are. And it's so interesting. Oh my gosh, that's so cool, Mary. And I mean, but it's so interesting that's actually really true, because the reason that people don't do what they came here to do is things like what happened, well, what I've experienced in my life, or other things, whatever it takes, I would say, call our opponent to unhinge or upend our life. And we just let things blow up, and then we let things get buried in the rubble. And it isn't because people weren't called to do something, because everybody on this Zoom right now has a purpose. No matter what season in your life you're in, you're here, you have a purpose. You're on this planet, there's a purpose. And it's not because you're not called. It's not because you're not gifted. It's not because God wouldn't resource you to figure it out, even though you might say, you want me to do what? As you're praying and hearing what to do with your life, and you don't know how to make that happen. But it's because we're afraid. That's it. Afraid. I would say, like, if I was talking to my kids and my kiddos, just because we're big fat chickens, just because we're afraid. And what are we afraid of? There's like 10 toxic, I call them my toxic tribe, anybody's toxic tribe, but procrastination, hesitation, fear of failure, fear of success, stress, overwhelm, imposter syndrome, self-doubt, self-loathing, and the ever so popular fear of rejection. And it's, we're afraid because we're afraid of what other people might think, or I might step out and what if the ground underneath me gives out and I, fall into an abyss and I'm embarrassed in front of other people, or, even me getting on tonight, I thought, oh my gosh, I can't even open my garage door to go drive anywhere unless I climb up on my rig, unhook things, so that I can pull on the side of the road and do this. I mean, it's like that kind of thing. And it's funny because the thing that I've really learned through all of this is that even in the midst of the rubble, of what had been blown up in my life, and if you think about it, and I can feel my emotion well up, because from August until my divorce was final, December 1st, my son, 3 other loved ones, including my best friend of 20 years, my father, and my divorce was final, all within a 4-month period of time. And then the rest came after. And those were some of the most important men in my life. And so even in the midst of that rubble, you know, all I kept hearing was, you better get up. And there were days where I didn't want to get up. Oh my goodness. There were days where I would just, I live in the boonies because I can't even order Uber Eats, man. It's, even so, nobody's coming out here to bring me a pizza. So it's that kind of a thing. And I remember just get up and then one day I thought, Cindy, what, why are you, of course I have the right to be upset and sad and all those things, but I started to stack my blessings. I started to look at, and I started with my body. Now I have these amazing, which I'm excited about. I mean, I have like these different things that I use to help my body. But one of the things is, if I just want you to take a second, I know most of you are off camera, but if you could just close your eyes for just a sec and take a deep breath. And I want you to envision your body, and I want you to think about these amazing statistics. Do you know that your body contains over, just take a deep breath, keep your eyes closed, 60,000 miles of blood vessels in one human body? That is enough to circle the earth more than twice. We are so magnificently made. Keeping your eyes closed, check out the rest of your body here. Your lungs, our lungs, contain approximately 600 million alveoli, which are little gas pockets on the outside of your lungs or on your lungs. And when they're stretched out flat from one body, that could cover the size of an entire tennis court. Your brain contains roughly 86 billion neurons and over 100 trillion connections in your brain. Your body is made of about 37 trillion cells, give or take, trillion with a T, each carrying out a divine assignment every single day. 37 trillion cells on a mission every day. Now, here's what blows my mind every time I say it out loud, because our body isn't static. It's constantly renewing, rebuilding, rewriting itself. Our stomach lining renews itself every few days. Our skin renews itself every few weeks. Our red blood cells are replaced every few months. Our liver regenerates, and our skeleton, our hardcore bones, they're renewed over time. So within about a decade, much of your body is completely rebuilt. So I've been on this planet over 6 decades. I didn't even have to pay for a mommy makeover. And I got all these great things happening in my body. And what's wild is if God designed us that the very cells in our body refuse to stay the same, who in the world was I to believe that my story had to end there and I had to stay the same? Now go ahead and take a deep breath and just open your eyes. I want you to think a second in your own life. Our bodies are a living testimony to resilience. We're each a walking resurrection. Like, listen, those are all scientific facts that I gave you. That's not something I just willy-nilly grabbed out of the air. But that's proof that we're hardwired for renewal, recoding, restoration, rebirth. We're hardwired to reign in this world. It's not random. It's not survival. It's masterpiece. We were divinely made. And each one of you are a masterpiece. Now, I had choices to make, and I had to, like I said, you can wake up every day and every day can be a day of suck, or you can create it to be a juicy, succulent day. And so I chose joy. And I'm going to tell you, I'm so grateful that God brought people into my life that reflected that back to me constantly. And that's the way frequency works anyway, if you've ever noticed that in your own life. And it wasn't because the pain is gone ever, because it's things are always there. It's because it wasn't because the losses didn't just like poof, they're gone. In fact, in 2 weeks, my 6th out of 9 grandchild graduates from high school. And since my son's been gone, that'll be 5 high school graduates that we've had. And so, these things don't change, but I refuse to let them write the next chapter of my life. I took that very dynamite that was dropped on me and I used it to clear the path instead of just to create rubble. What do you need to do that? What do you need to use, or how are you going to blow up the fear in your life? Because I blew up fear. What about shame? Shame is one of those things that robs you blind, and you may not even think, oh, I don't have any shame. Huh? Let's spend 5 minutes on the phone. We might be able to see some. I know I did. I didn't even know that it was there. I blew up despair. I blew up unforgiveness, and in its place, I decided to rebuild with power and peace and purpose and presence. And just like Alfred Noble, I flipped, he flipped his legacy. I flipped mine. What about you? Like right in here, right now. So let me ask you, what is the dynamite in your life? Have you had things blow up in your life because of failure or fear of success or imposter syndrome? Like, who am I to get up there and talk about all these, medical things or these things that could help change somebody's physical body? Who's going to listen to me? I don't know, I'll just randomly grab things because I don't know you folks other than Rebecca, but I'm a single mom and, I've made some silly choices in my life, or some painful choices, but now I'm on track. But who's going to ever listen to me, or who's going to listen to me? I'm retired already. And, and I, was a farmer. I mean, who's going to ever listen to me about, the fact that now I walk around pain-free and I have no brain fog and I have energy to burn and I can get on the floor with my grandchildren and still take my wife on a hot date. Who's going to ever want to listen to me, right? Like there's all these different things that we allow to get up and to blow our lives up. But what if the dynamite was love? What if the dynamite was joy? What if the dynamite that you use is forgiveness? What if the dynamite that you use is purpose? Like, what if that's the dynamite that you use? Because the very things that are waiting inside of you, just needing you to light the fuse. What if you just need to light the fuse on that you're just amazing? And the dynamite is, I'm a rock star and I'm amazing. Let me light that fuse up. Like, what if that's what it is? Because dynamite is neutral. Now, can you imagine waking up and you're thinking you're going to read about your brother and you read about you? And you're very much alive like Alfred Noble. I mean, that's crazy. What's amazing is he did realize dynamite's neutral because it can destroy or it can be used to build. We use it to blow up buildings so that we can build something new in its place. And the same force that tore things down can be used to build something extraordinary. So when people hear your name, Krista, Valerie, Mary, Leonard, Judy, Nancy, Rebecca, I mean, when people hear your names, Kathy and Cheryl, and what are they thinking? Are they going to think about what blew up? Or how you rose and rebuilt and reigned with joy and beauty and brilliance, how you impacted and changed the trajectory of so many people's lives because you had the courage to step into something when you know that you're already called and you're using the product, or you're already called to do something. You had the courage to step into something and to share it with other people. And you couldn't wait to tell everybody about it because you knew what it had done for yourself. And you just wanted to be a blessing. Is that what they're going to remember? Because I bet you they will when you start to really impact people's lives that way. Because every once in a while, life will hand you a moment, something that's so shocking, so defining, so mind-flowing that it forces you to stop. And it forces you to take a deep breath. And I know in my own life, and I'm sure with many of you in different things in your lives, where you've just like, okay, well, who am I? Like, who am I really? Why am I here? Like, why am I here? And what am I going to do about it? Like, what am I going to do about it? And when that moment comes, and it will, you're all going to have that moment. My prayer is that your answer sounds a whole lot like mine did that day on the beach. Because each of you, I want you to really, when we're done tonight, take a look in the mirror and point in that mirror, because you are the one. You're the one. You're the one that was safe for right now, for your families, for other people's families, for other people. Like, now is the time to do that, not tomorrow, not later. The thing that all of that taught me, and taught me abundantly, was that we may not have time another time. It's right now. Now is the time that you have. And this is the place. This is the place that you can commit and say yes, whatever that yes is for. Whatever you know in your spirit what's been stirring in you, that whatever you're to say yes to in your life. And you can just, even in your place right now, put your shoulders back. If you want to stand up, you can. And just say, I am the one, out loud. I mean, I can't see most of you. I can see beautiful Rebecca, but just, I am the one. And you can say to yourself, there you are, Mary. So Mary, just say, I am the one. Now is the time. Like right now is the time. And this is the place. Do it one more time. And I want you to feel it, like feel it into your bones. Like, I am the one. I am the one. And now is the time. And this is the place. And I just want to encourage you to go out there and light that fuse, whatever it is, and use your light to light the world up, one person at a time, one family at a time, one brain fog at a time, one body ache at a time, one inflammation at a time. Just go out there and use the products yourself, and go out there and change the world. Because when the world will see you rise and rebuild and reign, all you have to do is say, oh, how did I do that? Bombs away, baby. So thank you for having me. And thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you so much, Cindy. That is such an inspiration, because I think sometimes we get so caught up in, oh, I couldn't do something like that, or the boldness that it takes, or whatever, not realizing the simplicity of, is somebody beside us hurting? Has
Yeah.
somebody beside us been praying for an answer, been praying that God sends something to rescue them in this
Yeah.
most horrific stage of their life, whether it's mental health, whether it's something physical, and the doctors just want to throw more pharmaceuticals at it, or whatever it is, because uh, we don't always remember that we have been given such a gift. So if you're thinking about these products, like Cindy said, this is the right place at the right time with this product line. Then on top of that, the opportunity in and just being bold and realizing people are begging for answers. People are begging for an opportunity. And that is just whatever God has given you, Cindy. That was so beautiful. Take it and be bold. You are the one. You're at the right place at the right time. And I just love it. And I know we've taken a little bit longer. And thank you for hanging in here, so many of you. And we will do it again. And there's just so much to share every week. If you are ready to jump in and give it a try, or this has inspired you to say, you know what, who knows who beside me is suffering, I do want to just share it. We've got amazing, simple tools, and I'm happy to help with that. So I won't belabor that point, but there are just so many opportunities here for your health and for your finances and for personal development, and all of the mentors we have along the way, and what this opportunity affords. So thank you all so much for jumping on, and I will stop the recording, and then